Masaki departs from the office and heads to the station. He plans on searching for any clues regarding Naori's whereabouts. Masaki hasn't the foggiest idea where to start looking. It was like that ever since they were kids. Naori was the best at hide and seek. It's not like he would hide in hard to find places, but rather he'd simply hide in places that would shock even the devil himself. A location out of left field, perhaps somewhere such as the sprawling Shinjuku metropolis. Many criminals make their hiding grounds around here, given Shinjuku used to be a black market haven. That being said, Masaki isn't a good enough actor to go underground and do a proper search around those parts. Naori might pick up on any needless disputes Masaki may cause and flee from his hidden sanctuary. However, Masaki realizes he's simply making up excuses for himself. Now, nonetheless, Masaki can't waste his breath on futile efforts. Damn it all. Masaki has to bank his hopes on the police mobilizing their units. If Masaki were in Yaginuma's position, that would be the first place he would search. Masaki stops in front of Book's Kinokuniya. He spots someone holding a large bag. That person's frontal view is completely blocked. Masaki will have to move to the side in order to avoid a head-on collision. Oh. Masaki looks to the side as he passes that person. It's Sei Mizuno. Huh? She stops and looks at Masaki. If it isn't Misaki. It's Masaki. For some reason, she always gets his name wrong. Looks like you bought a lot. Oh, this? The antique store had plenty of old paintings for sale, so I ended up buying all of them. Oh, old paintings. Are you going to restore and resell them? They won't sell. They're simple Taisho-era paintings made by no-name students learning to paint. I'll simply use these as art supplies for restoration. Supplies? Doesn't restoration have its own set of supplies? It should be possible to restore them to their original forms at any time. We have some customers who request us to restore them back to their original condition, no matter how many months or years have passed. So that's what the old paintings and supplies are for. There are methods that use coffee and such to make paintings look old. That way, it might be possible to give the painting an antique aesthetic. That seems heavy. Let me carry it for you. Oh, sorry for making you do this, is what I should say, but can you please help me? This huge bag is getting out of hand for me. Sei hands the bag over to Masaki. It's a massive paper bag, but it definitely feels like a cloth. Want me to carry this to the store? We can take the Keio line if it's in Chofu. The art gallery Masaki used to work at was by the Chofu station. Oh, you wouldn't know this, Masaki, but we moved to Kichijoji recently. Really? The owner said we weren't getting much clientele at Chofu, so we moved. Well, when Masaki was working there, no one else really came besides the typical customers, such as other art gallery managers. The national rail line is by Inokashira Highway. That means it's not too far from the station. Let's get going then. After adjusting the position of the bag he's holding, Masaki walks with Sei to Shinjuku Station. They get off the train at Kichijoji. Well then, you must have helped out a lot over there for your job if you're there a lot. There's a cafe nearby that I'm familiar with. Masaki decides not to say he works as a detective. Not only would explaining everything be a huge pain, he feels like it's something he really shouldn't talk about at all. Show me next time. Sure, no problem. Masaki walks down the Inokashira Highway and spots a sign on a building by the railroad. The words Sasakura Art Gallery are written on the entrance sign. Oh, it looks like he's out. A sign that says closed hangs on the door. Sei takes out a key and opens the door. Come on in. Alright then. Masaki used to work for the same art gallery, but they changed locations since he left. This is basically his first time coming in here. However, not much inside the store has changed at all. Though it isn't too strange, given that the owner, employees, and the materials haven't changed at all. Can you put it over there? Masaki places the bag on the floor, exactly where Sei indicated. Where's the owner, Sasakura? Somewhere, probably with clients. Sorry, there's a lot you might want to say. No worries, it's normal to fire someone who has strange charges laid against them. I'm sorry, even if it was only a few months ago. Sei apologetically bows her head. Come on, it's fine. Masaki already put that behind him. Oh, I'll brew some tea. Hold on a moment. Sei disappears further within the shop. Masaki takes a seat by the nearby stool and looks around the store. There are paintings hung all over the wall. While the paintings are antiques, they have a bright and vibrant texture. It's probably due to Sei's restoration. He also spots a few paintings from well-known artists. Those ones would probably cost a fortune. Sorry for the wait. Sei comes back with a round tray, which carries a teacup. Thanks for the tea. Masaki takes a sip of the piping hot green tea. Do you still enjoy drawing? Sei must have noticed Masaki staring at the paintings. Yeah, I still feel drawn to it. That's good. Sei smiles. The owner praised you. He said you have a good eye for art. Really now? It doesn't feel like it. Masaki never really considered himself a connoisseur of the arts. What do you think of this painting, for example? Sei points to one of the paintings hanging on the wall. Let's see. It's a common landscape portrait. The brush strokes are uniform and not too uneven, but the sky doesn't look that pretty. I'm guessing this was drawn by someone just starting. Masaki just says what comes to mind. Yeah, that's the general consensus. Good thing the owner isn't here to hear that. Huh? Don't tell me. Masaki takes a second look at the painting. The name Kei Sasakura is signed by the corner of the painting. He always says he doesn't have any talent for painting, so I'm sure he wouldn't be angry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard that all the time too. Nonetheless, the owner, Sasakura, still loves paintings. Oh, I better get going. Masaki puts back the teacup and gets up. Thanks for coming by today. You helped me a lot. No, not at all. Thank you so much for the tea. Masaki leaves the art gallery after giving his thanks. Daily life of Masaki and the daily life of Reiji. I guess that's all this demo really is so far, is just kind of reintroducing us to the characters. Not much has really happened in terms of the plot. It's just kind of catching us up with what's been happening to them since the events of Carno Shoujo 2. Which, I mean, is fine. I like that aspect of it. I find a place in front of Kichijoji Station to camp out in order to view the various pedestrians walking by. I'm doing this as part of my search for the missing Naori Kuria. Of course, I realize how slim the prospects of me finding him like this are. What I should be looking for are people involved rather than the man himself. I'll look for anyone from the Blessed Congregation or Hinagami Pharmaceuticals and investigate them to see if I can find a link connecting them to Naori. I scan over the documents on hand. I'll look over the name registry for Hinagami Pharmaceuticals. Of course, only their names and addresses are listed. I have no photograph to reference. That means I should be visiting each area that's listed here. Well, I'm not expecting to meet anyone here anytime soon. There was a larger aftermath from the incident than I expected. The police, reporters, and a bunch of hooligans were swarming the people involved. From their perspective, a detective like me would essentially be one and the same. Not as if they're wrong. However, I'm certain he wouldn't hide out in a place with this many people flocking. That being said, he is involved in the incident too. If he goes into a frenzy after any eyewitness reports, there's no guarantee civilians will remain unharmed. I pray things won't shake out that way. Oh? I turn my head to the sound of a familiar voice. Hello, Kayahara. I stand up and greet her. Fumi Kayahara. She was heavily involved in the previous case. Oh, I guess she's walking around free now. I remember she was imprisoned in at the end of the second game. I guess they let her go. I thought that she was going to be locked up for a long time. Well, given the past history that led up to this incident, it's easy to say she's a key figure in the whole thing. Looking at the girls? Should I really be praising the fact that her words are able to mask everything that has happened? I'm doing work. I know. I notice a somber look on her face as she takes a seat near me. I went to see Yukiko. How was it? She's calmed down now and is cooperating perfectly with the investigation. She wants to repent for her sins. Fumi turns her face away. I was talking with the psychiatrist who examined her. It appears that at the time of the incident, her mental state was unstable, so it's likely she won't be held criminally responsible. Didn't Yukiko say she wanted to repent? Yes, it's not something I could have done. Being the coward I am, I fled at the first opportunity. She murdered someone in the past. The statute of limitations has already passed, so even though she confessed her crimes to the uncouth superintendent of the Tokyo Police Department, they couldn't arrest her. The reality of those crimes won't disappear even if no judgment is passed. That's why she feels so indebted, as if there's a heavy weight on her. I want to respect Yukiko's wishes, but truthfully, I want to live together with her again. Why don't you adopt Michiru then? That's not the same. She pushes back heavily to my question. She's my precious daughter. I can't possibly dream to replace her. There's no comparison. My apologies. I meekly apologize. At the very least, she won't be taking in Michiru as a replacement for Yukiko. No, I should apologize. I'm talking to you while you're working. I'm making you stand out more. You don't need to worry about that. So, you're looking for Naori? I highly doubt he would appear in a place like this. The police are searching everywhere for him too. Not only is there a police station near the train station, but there should be plainclothes policemen patrolling the area too. And you don't think you look suspicious, Tokisaka? Fumi cracks a joke, her usual energy slowly returning back to her. The investigators already know what I look like. The superintendent already made arrangements ahead of time. It's an unwritten rule that we won't interfere with each other if we do cross paths. It's difficult enough already to collect information. I'm simply grateful they won't get in my way. I just have a feeling he's probably hiding right under your nose and that he's somewhere nearby. He's always been that type of person. In all honesty, ever since the war, some of these people haven't been identified until recently. Even that giant doofus wasn't found. If you live a quiet life, or even a normal one, it's easy to go undetected. Fumi puts on a despondent grin. I recall that she did the same thing in order to survive. Even then, a guy carrying a child will stick out like a sore thumb regardless. I'm sure he has to be planning things out in advance. Only for a moment, I had an epiphany regarding the easiest countermeasure he could take. No, he shouldn't have resorted to that. Do you think he left the child with someone else? That's what I'm hoping for, at the very least. If the child were with someone else, that would ease my mind. Nanako really cared for that child, but Naori never really thought much of it. Our first priority should be tracing his steps. It should be a bit easier, given we actually met before. I'll do what I can too, so please don't be afraid to ask me for help. Yeah, I'll ask if I ever need you. Oh, but spending the night with you is a bit... like I'd need that. I'm kind of surprised that, she hasn't tried to, really get with Masaki or Ayato, especially considering they kind of have a child together. I mean, they didn't know about it, but they have a child together. I would think that they'd try to be maybe raising the child, raising Michiru, or adopting her, and they would both act as her guardians or her parents or something. And especially considering, they both at least used to be romantically, they were in love. So it's kind of weird how she's free now. She's not imprisoned, which I thought she would be throughout the entirety of this game, but it seems like that's not the case. She's walking around free, and her and Ayato or Masaki just are kind of not really, I don't know, not really a thing. I don't know, maybe it's just that they don't feel that way about each other anymore, but clearly that's not the case, I don't think. I mean, I feel like they still do have feelings for each other, but they don't really get together at all to try to raise their daughter. It's just weird. I don't know. To me, that aspect of this game is weird, that they're just kind of not acknowledging that, and they're kind of acting just nonchalant about the whole thing. It was treated as a big plot reveal in the second game, but now it's just kind of something that's there, and they're not really, they're not really doing much about it. Michiru is still just kind of, I guess, recuperating in the hospital. And I'm wondering if I guess she does need to be there, but it's still just kind of weird that they're, like I said, they're not together, and they're not making an effort to try to raise her or try to help her I mean, I guess they are trying to help her, but they're not really, raising her as her parents, which they actually are her parents. So I don't know. It's just, I don't really get it. It's Sunday morning. I'm awake, but I don't feel like getting up. Hence, I'm still in bed with my eyes still glued shut. Brother? The sliding door opens and I hear Yukari's voice. What? I'm eagerly open my eyes and look up at Yukari. Are you feeling under the weather? No, simply just tired. I even went to bed earlier last night, but still. Do you want to rest up a bit longer? No, I'll get up. Loafing around is no good. I sit up and stretch. Alright, I shall go prepare breakfast then. I stand up and pack up the futon. My body feels fine. Now that I'm actually up, my fatigue is wearing off. I dress myself in a suit and head to the living room. Breakfast has already been prepared. Hey, what's going on today, Yukari? Don't you remember that you're going to the art museum today? Were you not the one to tell me you had something to do there? Oh, right. I'm not even the one who made the promise, so it's not surprising I don't remember. Are you really going to be fine? Yukari looks up at me with concern. I only feel out of it because I overslept. Damn it, it's like everything I do makes you worry. Right, you're going too. Let's head out together then. That's fine with me, but before we head to Ueno, may we head to Shinjuku? Masaki is the one chaperoning me today. He's not a kid. He can come on his own when he has the time. That isn't the right thing to do. Fine, whatever. We converge with Masaki in front of Shinjuku Station before making our way to the Tokyo Metropolitan Art Museum in Ueno. When does the museum even open? Around 10, so in a bit. Masaki answers that question without a second of hesitation. I guess we wait. We take a seat by the nearby bench. Yukari sits beside me. In front of us is Masaki. Oh, over there. A banner hangs from the wall of the art museum, reading Student Art Exhibition. Seems like the exhibition will only be held today. That's because this is a special exhibit. Regardless, I couldn't be happier that one of my own artworks is on display. What did you draw? It's a secret. I feel a sense of dread creeping up hearing that. It would be nice if you took a look. I still have no idea what my job here today is, so I don't even know if I can see your artwork today. Very true. I can see the dejection in her eyes. That's why you can eat dinner there if you want. Masaki will be footing the bill too. Huh? Masaki lets out a yelp but chokes back his words. You're expecting someone younger than you to pay? You should know how things work. Well, yeah. Don't worry, it's fine if we splurge with the allowance my brother gives me. Hey, that's basically my money. Please make sure you have all the receipts for any and all necessary expenses before saying that. Damn, my sister isn't budging on this one bit. We part ways as the art museum opens. Now then, off to see Stella. There she is. With the museum now open, I find Stella on her usual stool with that dreamy look on her face. I still don't know what she's even thinking about. Hey Stella, it's been a while. I call out to her as I draw near. Who? I'm getting deja vu here. You said you had a task for me. Oh, Reiji. Stella comes to her senses and approaches me. It's been a while, Reiji. Yeah. Probably about 2 years. I don't remember ever going to the art museum for anything ever since that incident 2 years ago. Why are you here? Weren't you the one who called me? I really shouldn't raise my voice in the art museum. Oh, yeah, I need you to organize his drawings now that Shinjo is dead. I'll have to help sort through his drawings. I spontaneously turn my gaze deeper within the museum. Girl in the Shell. That painting was the genesis of it all. Toko is the spitting image of the painting's model, Miss Nakahara, who also happens to be her mother. However, all I can think of is Toko when I see that painting. I turn away, the pain building up again. Reiji? Don't worry, it's nothing. We're moving that too? Girl in the shell is too big, so we can't move it. Alright then. In all honesty, we should probably move that painting the most. So much of Toko's soul is imbued in that painting. Stella looks up at me. It's none of your business. Stella gives a small nod. Except for Girl in the Shell, all of Shinjo Mamiya's paintings have been kept in his studio. It's been that way since his arrest. Yaginuma also mentioned that. And you want me to help with sorting through it all? Now that Stella is talking fluently, I ask her again. Yes, we'll have to check out our whole inventory whether we'll store or sell the paintings. Though I'd rather not sell them. Might as well store all of them in one large group. Not like I have any reasoning behind that. I'll see you tomorrow. We're not doing it today? I have a break from work tomorrow. I'm still at work today. Still working, huh? Stella puffs out her cheeks and hits me, as if she knows what I'm thinking. Leaving Tokisaka behind, Masaki and Yukari head to the exhibition hall for the opening of the art exhibit. Inside, it's obvious to tell the paintings displayed here are of a very different variety than the ones permanently on display. There's no comparing the differences in technique and skill. Regardless, the paintings here have such a unique energy and vibrancy. This is amazing. Masaki realizes he's lost the ability to paint like this. Yes, everyone is so good. Yukari has been thoroughly examining each painting since entering the exhibition hall. One is a watercolor painting. It's simply lovely. The water is drawn really well. Adding all these coats really gives it proper depth. The painting is wonderful too. I can just hear the rustling of the trees just by looking. Yukari lets out a sigh. What's wrong? I just feel so embarrassed having my painting here when I start to look around. Come on, don't think like that. Where's your painting? I haven't found it yet. Yukari raises her head and scans the entirety of the exhibition hall. Oh, I found it. Where? Yukari points to a single painting. Huh? It's a painting of a single girl frolicking with the butterflies. I was intending on drawing Mary Magdalene. Is this using oil paints? Yes, I made sure to use as thin a layer as possible. Yukari turns her gaze away. It's good, but... But what? Masaki wants to compliment it, but he has doubts. Take this with a grain of salt, because I'm an amateur too, but the person looks much more subdued and less detailed compared to the countless butterflies. Masaki decides to be frank with her after all. You should really try to put more focus and emphasis on the person. You definitely have a point. Thank you very much. Yukari stares at the floor. Hey, why are you even thanking me? Masaki shakes his head, obviously confused by what's going on. No, I had a similar feeling. I'm glad someone else pointed it out as well. Yukari lets out a bright smile. Come on, let's check out other paintings. Yukari grabs Masaki's arm. This painting looks splendid too. It's akin to the Virgin Mary. Uh-oh. What's it a painting of? The hell? Okay. Symbolism? The painting shows the Virgin Mary holding the baby Jesus of Nazareth. The painting isn't just a simple religious painting. By all appearances, the face of the Virgin Mary looks oriental, as if she were Japanese. Perhaps the artist modeled her after someone. Oil paintings have deliberate and powerful brushstrokes, and yet this painting comes across as so delicate. Oh? The artist. Yukari notices the artist's name beneath the painting. Is that someone you know? Yes, it's someone I knew before I enrolled in Oba Girls Academy. The sign underneath the painting reads Shirosabaki Tokyo Fine Arts Academy, Chie Kuboi. Huh? What's wrong? I feel like I heard this name somewhere before. Where was it? Oh right, I heard it when I met her. What a coincidence. Seems like you know her too. No wonder this portrait looks so amazing. You already met her? Looks like it, but damn, she's one heck of an artist. Going to a fine arts school and all. Yes. Yukari nods. We used to draw a lot together as kids, but those paintings were simply created from our childish mischief. Yukari has a wistful look on her face. Even back then, she was amazing. I aspired to draw like her. That's because I have a wonderful teacher. A voice from behind both of them interjects. Huh? Masaki turns and sees a familiar girl wearing a school uniform. Oh, it's you, Chie. It's been so long, Yukari. The high school girl, Chie Kaboi, bows her head. Yes, it really has. Have you been doing well? I'm doing splendid. Thank you very much. By the way, Yukari. Yes? What is it? Is this person over here your lover, Yukari? Not at all. I like how she just flatly denies that. I thought she was going to get embarrassed when she asked her that question. It just seems like Yukari kind of has sort of like a crush on Masaki, but I don't know. It just kind of comes off that way to me. Yukari doesn't even hesitate as she gives an immediate reply. Is he your brother then? I thought he would look much more sharp than this. He's Masaki. He works with my brother. And thus, Yukari introduces Chie to Masaki. Nice to meet you. We actually met before at Shinjuku last week. Really? Chie tilts her head in confusion. You helped me draw a picture of a missing person and all. Masaki reaches into his pocket and takes out a piece of paper. Oh, that. Did you manage to find him? No, I haven't had any luck. Masaki shrugs his shoulders. Truthfully speaking, even after Masaki got the portrait, he hasn't been able to find any eyewitness reports. Maybe it doesn't look like him after all. Chie's shoulders droop. No, it's not like that. From what I remember, this is basically what he looks like. Then there's an issue with the search method. Chie hits way too close to home for Masaki. Chie, you mentioned you had a wonderful teacher earlier. Is a school designed for fine arts really that different? Chie shakes her head in response. My private tutor is the one who taught me all this. A private tutor for art? Yes. Without a care in the world, Chie nods her head. There's a full range of people in the fine arts school, from those who take art seriously to those without any motivation. We have it all in spades. I still feel jealous. Hey Chie, can you teach me the coding technique you used around here? Yukari points to a certain area of Chie's painting. Yes, this is... Chie explains with hand gestures. These sorts of conversations are probably much more stimulating, given they're closer in age. You want to change the undercoat around here. And how did you get the color here? My teacher made that color for me to use. Wow, your teacher is amazing, Chie. My teacher is fantastic. Chie seems to be extra boastful, saying that. Please be quiet within the building. The nearby staff member, Stella, warns them to lower their voices. Apologies. Yukari apologetically bows her head. Oh, Stella, how did things go with Tokisaka? Masaki sees Stella, but no trace of Tokisaka. Reiji, he said you guys can go on ahead first. Masaki wonders if he still has some work to do. There's not much we can do about that. Let's go somewhere else and catch up some more, Chie. No problem. Where do you want to go? Does a cafe in Kichijoji sound good? Of course. Chie readily agrees. Alright, I'll be seeing you guys later. Masaki doesn't want to be the third wheel in their reunion. Do you have work, Masaki? Well, no, but... I don't mind if he stays. If you don't mind staying, we'll be talking about art. Well, I don't mind either way. If they're alright with it, then it isn't an issue with Masaki. The three of them leave Ueno behind them. Yukari and the others get off at Kichijoji Station. This place feels so nostalgic. Chie has a wistful look on her face as they stand outside Moonworld.
When I was little, my brother would rarely come home, so we would eat dinner here a lot. We must have bothered her with the number of times we were here.
Interesting.
Welcome. Oh,
Kyoko cranes her head the moment she sees Yukari and the others.
it's been so long. Yes, it has. Please have a seat. How are you doing, Kyoko? Who is that girl? I remember her face, but...
Yukari lets out a laugh, hearing Kyoko lower her voice just to ask her that.
It's been so long, so I can't blame you. This is my childhood friend. Ah, right.
Kyoko lets out a small sigh.
Sorry, my memory is getting worse with age.
She is not that old. She is definitely not that old.
No way, you're still so young, Kyoko. Thanks, Yukari. Is everyone fine with a coffee? I'd like some warm milk, please.
Chie raises her hand as she says that.
Yes, coming right up. Oh, I remember now. She's the girl that was always with you, Yukari. You two always drank hot milk together. Really?
Yukari doesn't recall drinking hot milk. However, she probably didn't drink coffee back then. Maybe Kyoko is right. The two of them leave the counter and head to a table.
Really? What is the relationship between you two?
That's what I'm wondering. It's nothing like that. She's just my boss's younger sister.
Chie?
Yukari could feel the conversation taking a strange turn, so she called out to Chie.
What do you think, Yukari? Huh? What do you mean?
Yukari tilts her head in confusion, not picking up on the flow of the conversation.
What do you think of Masaki, Yukari? I'm not sure.
No words come out, no matter how much Yukari thinks.
I don't really know. Do you prefer insects or him more? Easy. Insects.
Yukari answers without hesitation.
Is this kind of girl really okay with you?
Chie turns her question to Masaki, who for some reason is lying his head on the table.
Thanks for waiting.
Kyoko brings out the coffee. Yukari, taking a seat back in her chair, feels a sense of relief that the conversation was interrupted.
Chie? What is it?
Chie looks up as she blows in her cup of hot milk.
Did you see my painting at the art museum? Yes, I did. What do you think? The way you drew insects is wonderful as always, but the other parts were dull. I see.
Chie shares her honest thoughts, and Yukari is more than grateful to know Chie's own evaluation. Chie has been like that ever since they were kids.
It would be better if you made the insects the forefront of your painting. There are plenty of artists that use insects as their central motif. Yes, that's true.
It's incredibly helpful to hear both Masaki and Chie's opinion, especially because both of them have immersed themselves in the arts for so long. For Yukari, it feels as if a weight has been lifted off her chest. I've sprawled myself all over the floor looking up at the ceiling ever since I came home. Before I knew it, the sun set, but even then, I didn't turn the light on. I came face to face with Girl in the Shell after so long, and because of that, memories of her flood my mind, no matter how much I try to stop myself. She's not here anymore, and yet that painting is still standing tall, the same as ever. No, that painting isn't made in her image. It's modeled after Miss Nakahara, whose body has been preserved as the Girl in the Shell statue. That's right, and I don't even know where to find the Girl in the Shell statue. The statue we found in Shinzo Mamiya's basement, Miss Nakahara's waxed corpse. It was stolen before we could perform an autopsy, and now we don't even have the foggiest clue where to look. Just where could it be?
Brother?
I hear Yukari's voice. What's wrong? I half open my eyes and see Yukari's worried face staring down at me.
I should be asking you that. You haven't even turned the lights on.
Well, things happened. I get up. How about dinner?
Yes, it's ready.
I follow Yukari into the living room. Dinner is already prepared on the table. Oh yeah, when did you guys leave the museum? I ask Yukari that from across the table. In the time I excused myself to meet with Stella, both Yukari and Masaki had already left.
Huh? I was told I could leave before you.
I don't remember ever giving them that message.
I went home because I was told you wouldn't know when you would be able to come back.
Well, maybe.
That's Stella. Oh yeah, I did see your painting. It feels like the butterflies are drawn in way too much detail. I felt uneasy looking at each individual hair on the butterflies. Everyone else had the same opinion.
Yukari lets out a sigh. Oh yeah, did Masaki go back to the office?
Yes, you need him for something?
No, it's nothing. If he has nothing to do, he'd usually come over to eat. Weird he isn't coming over.
I've prepared the bath for myself. Can you bring the plate back to the kitchen once you're finished?
Oh, yeah, sure.
She's being somewhat distant. I don't remember anything happened at the exhibition hall, so maybe something happened afterwards.
Masaki isn't here after all. I'll have to have a one-on-one chat the next time I see him. But it's not like I have proof he did anything. Maybe she's just feeling uncomfortable because she's thinking about her relationship with Masaki. I don't know. I parked my car in front of the art museum and wait for Stella to arrive. It seems like the museum is open. I'm a bit shocked, since most art museums and the like are closed on Monday.
Thanks for waiting, Reiji.
Ah, you're here. Stella approaches and stops to look at my car.
Reiji, you can drive?
Oh, yeah, I have experience.
Wanna go by train?
She doesn't trust me. Going to Mejiro from Ueno didn't take too long. Would taking the train be this fast?
No.
Her complexion doesn't look that great. Maybe she isn't great with cars. Sorry, do you easily get carsick?
No, not that. It's just Reiji's driving is too wild.
I'm really sorry for that. And here I thought I was being a careful driver. Oh yeah, the art museum's open today?
We take the first and third Mondays of the month off. That's why we're open today, but we're temporarily closing the museum on the fourth Monday this month.
The 24th? Why?
We should be changing exhibits then.
Should is the key word here. Perhaps she doesn't remember.
Let's go, Reiji.
She takes out a key. Hold on a moment. I take out a chrysanthemum from the rear car seat. Using an incense stick here is a bad idea, so I hope he'll forgive me. I put a flower in front of the studio entrance and give a silent prayer. I'm good to go.
Okay.
It's been a while. Maybe about 2 years since I last was here, and the studio looks like it's been polished up. No trace of the tragedy that took place 2 years ago remains. That's why this is probably a good place to store the paintings. I see some paintings covered in a cloth leaning by the corner of the room. I don't see much dust on it, so someone must have come here often enough to clean.
After Shoujo was arrested, his lawyer came to visit the museum and entrusted his studio to us.
So that must be Shinto Mamiya's desire, or dying wish rather. Aren't you worried about any burglaries taking place, given how secluded the area is? Even with rapid urbanization on the horizon, this place is still littered with greenery.
Yeah, that's why we'll check it out and move them to the museum.
Stella takes out the inventory documents from a large envelope.
Reiji, take out the butterfly dream.
Stella reads through the documents as she gives me orders. You might know which painting it is by looking at the title, but I have no clue what any of these paintings are.
It's the one with butterflies.
Would any art museum expert even approve of that kind of explanation, even as a joke? Wouldn't it be better if I just take out the paintings for you to confirm instead of the other way around?
Yeah, let's do that then.
So, we're just taking all these paintings and moving them to the museum. Like, oh my god. I hate to be this way, but when is the plot going to get started? Like, this has just been the daily life of Reiji and Masaki. Stella takes the cloth off the paintings.
This should be Holy Fire Illusion.
Stella uses her pencil to write in her inventory documents.
Next one.
Following Stella's order, I put Holy Fire Illusion away and take out the next painting for her to see.
Is this Sacrifice on the Holy Night? Why are you asking me?
I look at the back of the canvas to see if anything else is drawn on there. There's nothing written on the aged wooden frame. Shinzo Mamiya's signature and the date are written on the front. Is the third year of the Showa era the correct year?
Yes, Shinzo painted Sacrifice on the Holy Night 3 years after Emperor Showa took the throne.
Looks good. Let's move on to the next one. We continue going through each painting. We don't have much left.
Yes, all the paintings we have are either stored here or what he had with him.
You probably hear this a lot, but those are probably worth a lot. My curiosity got the best of me, which is why I asked.
I don't know. Shinzo's artworks are rarely up for auction. I heard part of it is because he can't find many buyers he can sell them to.
Now that he's dead, the value of these paintings might increase. Well, not like I have any part in this.
Reiji, next one please.
Yeah, here. I take off the cloth and show Stella.
An angel? No way. This is...
Stella stares at the painting in my hand in utter shock. It's a painting of a girl missing her arms. Uh-oh. I think we know who that is. Wings are sprouted from her back. Stella's right on the money. It does look like an angel. However, there's only one wing sprouting from her back. I can't tell if the other wing is broken or is in the middle of growing.
It's not on record.
Stella goes through the documents again as she shakes her head. What's wrong?
This painting shouldn't be here.
Stella puts down the documents and approaches the painting.
This is certainly Shinzo Mamiya's signature. The brushwork and colors are definitely his. Could this be an unpublished work?
Stella tilts her head. Can that even happen?
Yes, finding artworks post-mortem is pretty commonplace.
Stella carefully inspects the painting.
By all appearances, the brushstrokes are definitely his. We'll have to bring this back to investigate further.
Stella puts the cloth back on the painting and rests it against the wall, away from the other paintings.
Reiji, take out the next painting.
Yeah. Just because we become engrossed in the angel painting doesn't mean we should forget about why we came here. After we examined all the paintings, we head back out. Stella looks at the entrance door as I'm holding onto the angel painting. Is it okay to just take this one?
Yes, we already confirmed all the other paintings. We'll get them afterwards.
Seems like Stella wants to take this one back in order to have it further examined. You'd better hold on to it, otherwise it'll move around in the car.
Yeah, I know how you drive, Reiji.
What the hell is she on about? I put down the passenger seat and hand the painting to Stella, who's already in the rear seat. Alright, let's go back. I turn the engine on and carefully take off. I wonder if that painting was done in the image of Toko. Or her mother, I guess. Probably her mother. We're back at the art museum. Compared to before when we were going to the studio, Stella returns with a painting in hand.
Thank you, Reiji.
No problem. Want me to help you carry it in?
No, I'm fine.
Stella grasps the painting. Don't push yourself. Not like I have anything better to do.
No, you're not allowed to park here anyways.
You should have told me that earlier. Masaki heads out of the office and goes to Shinjuku Station. He plans on gathering information on Naori's whereabouts today. However, he notices a familiar face at the station and stops. Mizuno?
Masaki.
Seemingly crestfallen, Sei turns up to look at Masaki. What's wrong? Not only did she call him by the right name, she looks pretty depressed.
Oh, it's nothing.
Sei waves her hands in a panic. Good to hear then. No matter how you splice it, she doesn't look well at all. You went shopping? Unable to force anything out of her, Masaki changes the topic.
Yeah, I was buying some things I forgot.
Sei continues talking, even though it doesn't look like she wants to keep talking.
I couldn't find any working solvents. The ones I use for restoration are already old and volatile.
Were you able to find any?
I couldn't find them at the art store. I did find them at the flea market, but I can always just make it myself.
Sounds like a pain.
Does it? It's fun to experiment to see the best way I can recreate the original.
Sei smiles. Seems like she's starting to feel better.
Are you working, Misaki?
It's Masaki, and yeah, you can say that. He really can't afford to forget his main priority here.
I see. Do your best.
Thanks. Masaki heads back to the station as Sei waves him farewell. The sun sets on Tuesday and dusk arrives. Masaki lazes around Shinjuku Station. He already spent the whole day going around town, searching for any news on Naori's whereabouts. It's now dusk. Masaki should at least check out one more place before he calls it a day. Where should he go? Oh, do we actually make a choice here? Damn, I didn't think we were going to make any choices in this. Oh man, now I'm afraid. What if we make the wrong choice? Okay, so Kichijoji. The hospital. Shinjuku Station, that's where we are. Union Station. Or Union Station. Ueno Station. I'm trying to think where he hasn't really gone that much. He hasn't really gone to the hospital that much. I feel like he's probably been everywhere else, but he probably doesn't visit the hospital too much. I don't know. This is just a guess. Let's try this. Masaki decides to pay Kuchiki Hospital a visit. The director, Fumiya, is Naori's cousin. He might know something, but Tokisaka would likely think the same thing too. Still, it might be a good idea to get another perspective from someone else. Masaki enters the hospital proper. Because it's evening, the hospital is barren. There's no one at the reception desk. Masaki doesn't even know if the person he's looking for is still in. No, that person comes from the outside, so they shouldn't be here any longer. If so, then this visit was simply one done in vain. And just what are you doing? She's here. Dr. Watanuki. I have to report any suspicious activity, including any theft. What are you doing here? Not anything like what you're suggesting. I see. I heard that some time ago, someone was snooping around in a patient's chart. For some reason, his boss's face comes to mind. So why exactly have you come here? I wanted to talk to you about something, Dr. Watanuki. It's currently outside examination hours. She gives a blunt response. No, it's not related to anything regarding my examination. I just wanted to ask you about the state of mind about a criminal currently at large. Fine. I'll entertain you. Come to my office so I can straighten out any misunderstandings. Kaede turns back around. Misunderstandings? Masaki tilts his head in confusion as he follows Kaede. The first thing I should say is that I'm a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. Kaede says that the moment she sits down. I know that, but both your fields are very similar. I'm sure you're able to do some analysis. I'm a doctor first and foremost. My primary objective is examining patients and prescribing drugs and treatments to help their condition. If you want me to analyze a suspect, then bring them over to me first. Masaki can't seem to find words to speak. I apologize for wasting your spare time. Masaki bows his head. This is the only thing he can say at this point. Well, if the division of labor was more clear, we wouldn't be in this situation. Huh? If you have some data, I could do some analysis. However, I make no guarantee the validity of my analysis. But if you understand that, then that's okay. Thank you so much. Masaki bows his head again, this time in gratitude. Don't worry about it. The police asked me to do the same thing. I'm sure you guys came to the same conclusion. So, that means... I was asked by a creepy detective who was wearing glasses. Yeah, we know who that is. He'll lash out at you if he hears you call him a detective. Well, at least, I guess we probably made some progress there. I mean, I kind of figured that we would get some results if we visited the hospital. Mostly because she's there. Everywhere else, I just wasn't so sure about. It just seemed like there wouldn't be anything significant that would happen. I wake up and head to the living room. Yukari, who's listening to the radio, looks up at me.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah, morning. After I greet her, I take a seat on the sofa.
I'm preparing breakfast right now. Please hold on a moment.
Yukari heads back to the kitchen as I grab the newspaper. Nagashima from Rikyo is holding a press conference on the 16th. I flip through the paper in order to find the article I've been waiting for. Seems like they were quick to get the results. I find the article with the title Shinzo Mamiya's unpublished painting discovered post-mortem. It was only on the 10th that we went through his paintings at the dilapidated studio and recovered that painting of the one-winged angel. It seems like the art specialist concluded that the signature on the painting and the brushstrokes were most definitely Shinzo Mamiya's. With the painting fully in possession of the Tokyo Metropolitan Art Museum, they are considering holding a limited viewing of the painting on the 13th. I've already seen it anyways. They certainly aren't taking their sweet time. If it turns out to be a mistake afterwards, the museum will definitely lose face.
What happened?
Yukari comes back, bringing the toast. It's the article about Shinzo Mamiya's unpublished artwork. I exchanged the newspaper on hand for some toast.
Huh, so this is what you discovered, brother?
More like I just happened to be there. I spread some margarine on my toast as I answer.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I got a look at it. It's a strange painting. Shinzo Mamiya's lifeblood as an artist is perfectly personified in the eccentricity in his paintings.
I don't get it.
Yukari tilts her head in confusion. Well, there's an angel, but it just feels really ominous, I suppose. I give an impression of the painting, but it's not like I know the first thing about the jargon used in artistic criticism.
A fallen angel?
Yeah, I guess it feels like that. Both arms were missing too. It's similar to Girl in the Shell in that regard. The words are caught in my throat. It's not something I do consciously. My body automatically triggers its flight response.
I see.
Yukari gives a tiny nod. Perhaps she noticed as well. Well, if you want the full scoop for yourself, they're holding a special viewing for the painting tomorrow. Wanna come?
Tomorrow is a weekday, so I have classes.
Well, sucks to be a student. I wonder if that's what this is building up to, like the reveal of this painting. And I don't know. It feels like there should be some major event that happens to sort of conclude the prologue or to hook the reader before they play the main game, I would assume. But it just seems like there's nothing like that so far. This has just been fairly kind of mundane, so I'm sort of waiting for some big, something big to happen, I guess. Maristella walks along the road that leads to her workplace, the Tokyo Metropolitan Art Museum. A large crowd has gathered in front of the museum despite it being the crack of dawn. Today is the special exhibition for Shinzo Mamiya's unpublished work that was discovered the other day. Therefore, many newspaper reporters are lined up as well. It's only natural there's a huge swarm of people. Shinzo Mamiya has become incredibly notorious for the past several years. He has become the target of gossip since the news of his passing dropped several days ago. The only saving grace, if it can be called that, is that the victim of the media slander has barely any relatives remaining. Maris was also involved in that incident. However, she hasn't opened her mouth regarding all that. She passes by the reporters and enters the museum. Having prepared everything, Maris heads to the exhibition room. Shinzo Mamiya's unpublished painting has been christened as Divine Punishment. Maris doesn't know who named it, but she had a different first impression of the painting. No, it may very well be the same. Oh boy. There it is. As creepy as ever, like all his other paintings. Maris personally dubbed this painting Angel. However, upon re-examination, the painting shows a fallen angel and portrays it receiving heavenly punishment. The best explanation is that the painting depicts the fear of the unknown. In retrospect, it makes more sense that way. A fence railing surrounds the painting in order to keep others from approaching too near. A security guard will stand by the painting after the museum opens in order to maintain order. However, Maris knows that it will be no small feat with the number of people outside.
This is Shinzo's final painting before his death.
This is something that Maris feels she must safeguard. Maris looks up at the painting and prays it won't be damaged. With the museum opening, Maris heads to the corner of the exhibition room. The normally silent exhibition room is suddenly filled with boisterous noise. The first sounds are those of heavy footsteps. The bustling crowd can be heard next. Although cameras are not permitted, many men that look like reporters crowd around the painting. Paying no heed to the security guard shepherding them, they continue writing in their notebooks. If only texts were able to accurately describe the painting's meaning before them, then there would be no issue. However, of course, they are not concerned with describing the painting's core meaning. Behind the painting houses the artist, Shinzo Mamiya, and the many scandals he has stowed away deep within. Morris lets out a tiny yawn. In an instant, a bright flash goes off. Someone must have taken the photograph. The voice of the security guard reverberates throughout the room. However, that flash spurred on the other reporters. Everywhere, flashes start going off. This doesn't bode well for the other pictures. People who understand that wouldn't dare bring a camera. However, in the reporting industry, the ones who outwit everyone else has a leg up on them. A loud bellow echoes across the room. Mara sees a girl wearing a coat passing in front of her go outside. Perhaps she hates bustling crowds such as these. Mars feels sorry for all the other customers who have come today. Mars stands up and approaches the man holding the camera.
Photos are not allowed.
Yeah, tell that to everybody else taking pictures. After class, Yukari boards the train to Shinjuku. She's headed to her brother's office to sweep around. Yukari makes a habit of coming there often, despite the fact that Masaki lives there now and keeps the place relatively clean. Yukari notices a few banners hanging up in front of the Isetan a few blocks from the office. It appears they're having a special sale. Yukari approaches the building. Valentine sale is written on the banner.
Valentine?
That's certainly the name of a holy saint. But alas, why the department store is holding a sale for him is beyond Yukari. There aren't many customers. Yukari passes by the front of the store as she's curious what they have on sale.
Chocolate?
A plethora of chocolate bars are lined up in a row. Yukari reads the sign by the chocolate bars. Give these chocolate to those you are grateful to as a sign of your appreciation. This is the first time Yukari has been exposed to this sort of custom. Wait, really? Valentine's Day? She doesn't know about that? I can't believe that. However, the visible lack of other customers tells Yukari that many others are unaware of this custom as well. Yukari is deep in thought as she separates herself a bit from the chocolate bars. Her brother will be perfectly fine eating sweets, such as chocolate. What about Masaki? During dinner, it didn't seem like there was anything Masaki wouldn't eat, but when it comes to sweets, there are people who enjoy them and those who don't enjoy them. If Masaki doesn't like it, Yukari could eat it herself.
Excuse me, may I have 2 chocolate bars, please? And also...
Yukari catches sight of a message card. She'll be able to write her feelings in there.
And I would like 1 card as well, please.
Yukari takes some coins out of her purse to pay. The cashier neatly wraps each chocolate bar and puts them in a paper bag.
Thank you very much.
Yukari leaves the store after thanking the employees. Oh boy, this is going to lead to some misunderstandings. She finally arrives at the office. It appears Masaki isn't currently here. Yukari sets her bag down and takes a hold of the broom and dustpan. The office isn't that dirty, but there's a thin layer of dust by the corners. Yukari uses the broom to sweep up the dust. After sweeping the floor with the broom, Yukari wrings a cloth and uses that to wipe the floor. Yukari finishes cleaning and Masaki still hasn't returned. She takes a seat on the sofa and places the wrapped chocolate on the table. She also takes out the message card. What should she write in it? Just a simple thank you? Or should she add something else? Yukari keeps mulling it over. Yukari really doesn't have that much in the way of experience after all. With her pencil at the ready, she continues pondering. What are the emotions she should convey? Maybe that his hand soap is getting smaller? That's not what she should write. Yukari gently shakes her head. Yukari leans back on the sofa as a huge sigh escapes her. A simple thank you for everything should be plenty if she merely wants to thank him. However, she feels somewhat embarrassed writing that down. She would also feel embarrassed handing a drawing to Masaki because of his refined eye for art. Oh, you're here. The door opens and Masaki calls out to her. Yukari hurriedly puts the card into her uniform pocket.
I did some cleaning today.
Thanks, as always. Without a second thought, Masaki gives his thanks to her.
No problem.
Yukari thinks it's wonderful how Masaki can be so straightforward and candid in showing his gratitude. What is it?
you're beginning to run out of hand soap. I've prepared some more for you in the bottom drawer.
Oh, sorry. My bad. That's not what you wanted to tell him.
Oh, and, thank you.
Yukari hands Masaki the chocolate on the table as is. And this is? Masaki looks more puzzled than anything else.
Today is a day for showing thanks and appreciation, or from what I've heard.
Huh? So there's an occasion for that. But you're the one always looking after me. So I guess Valentine's Day must be a relatively new custom in Japan at this point in time? That's the only thing I can assume since so many people are kind of unaware of it. Masaki laughs.
Do you not like chocolate?
Yukari timidly asks that. Why would I? I feel really thankful.
I'm glad.
A weight seems to come off Yukari's chest. That was just a really weird interaction. Like they both didn't even know what that meant. I guess it's for the best that they don't know what that is. It would be funny if Yukari actually knew what Valentine's Day was. And there was just like this huge misunderstanding. That's what I thought was going to happen, but it didn't, surprisingly. Yukari returns home after buying some things for dinner. The sun has already begun to set, its evening light illuminating the house. Yukari notices the card in her uniform pocket as she's preparing dinner. She enters her brother's room. Her brother is out, so no one else is in there. She sits in front of the desk and places the chocolate on top. Yukari writes "thank you for everything" on the card with her pencil. This should be fine. She doesn't need to add any more. She puts the pencil down and leaves her brother's room. The hell does that say? I can't even read that. What the fuck was that about? Uh-oh. The serial killer's perspective. Here we go. In a blink, the illuminated room loses its luminescence. I'm standing stock still, all by myself. It's dark. It's pitch black. My mind has been dyed completely black. Hurry. I have no time to spare. My mind is racing. Meanwhile, my body is frozen. As much as I want to make a break for it, my body refuses to comply. This is my sin. Forgiveness will never come for me. However, if I continue living, my sin will never cease. Therefore, my fate is sealed. My eyes happen to see that. And because of that, why did things have to turn out this way? Ultimately, I was likely betrayed. It makes no sense. I can't wrap my mind around it. I no longer have any desire to think. This is hell already. I don't want to doubt any longer. My mind has been dyed completely black. If this is how things will turn out, then I want it over sooner. No, I should not wish for that alone. I won't accept it. I shake my head and expel the dread in my mind. Oh, however, it is nigh impossible to erase a thought once it has bubbled up to the surface. But I have to do something before I'm too late, before my sins accumulate even more. Even if I was betrayed, I shouldn't betray anyone else. Okay. What was that? Nothing happened. Wow. Well, that was weird. Like that, I don't know what to take away from that. He just said, "Oh, I shouldn't betray anybody. I was betrayed." Okay. I don't even know what character that was supposed to be. I mean, I guess it's someone we haven't been introduced to yet, or I don't know. Nobody died in that scene, so that was different. With Saturday afternoon in full swing, Yukari heads to the Tokyo Metropolitan Art Museum after her classes.
Yukari?
She meets Chie in front of the museum.
Sorry for keeping you waiting. No. I only just arrived myself.
Chie shakes her head.
Besides,
Chie points her finger a little ways away.
Is he coming with you as well?
Yukari looks to where Chie is pointing and sees Masaki sitting on a bench by himself.
Yes, he wants to see the results of the competition as well.
Today is the day when they'll announce the results of the art competition for students. Yukari has no expectation she'll win anything. However, she does anticipate that Chie's artwork will receive some sort of prize. Hey, you two. Masaki approaches as he sees the two of them.
Hello.
Chie bows her head.
Seems like you're free.
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Masaki lets out a pained chuckle.
Alright, let's go in.
Yukari goads the both of them in. Yukari walks into the museum feeling relaxed because she doesn't expect anything for her own artwork. The exhibit hasn't changed much since the last time she was here. However, a few paintings have a petite ribbon attached to them. These ribbons represent the paintings that have received a distinction. Most of the paintings that Yukari thought were superb ended up receiving a ribbon. You two still don't know how you did? Masaki turns to the both of them.
No, we haven't been contacted. I haven't heard anything either.
Yukari looks at Chie in confusion, as her answer is the same as hers. Yukari simply cannot understand the logic of Chie's painting was not given a prize. Even if she isn't a judge, Yukari still thinks it should be selected for a prize. However, most of the paintings she thought were excellent were given some sort of distinction, which should mean... Yukari, Masaki tugs on her sleeve.
Yes?
Yukari turns around and notices Masaki pointing towards a spot a ways away. Yukari looks over there as well. It's her own painting, and a white ribbon is fastened on one of the top corners.
Huh?
Yukari is unable to comprehend what she's looking at for a moment.
Your painting has received a distinction, Yukari.
She stares at the white ribbon.
Why me?
They haven't written any of the critiques on there, but that likely means people are carefully analyzing your artwork.
They must have been surprised at the detail of insects. Thank you.
Yukari puts her head down as she says her thanks. Never in a million years did Yukari think this would happen. Yukari is trembling a little bit.
Oh, what about you, Chie? I haven't seen mine yet.
Chie heads towards her own painting. Yukari feels nervous for Chie, as if it's her own artwork she's going to see. Masaki is hot on their heels. Chie stops.
Chie?
Before Chie is the painting of Mother Mary holding the baby Jesus. A gold ribbon is affixed to one of the corners of the note. It looks like the Summa Cum Laude?
Wait, Chie, did you?
Chie remains silent as Yukari stares at her expression.
I'm relieved.
Chie whispers softly.
I kept my promise with my teacher that I would undoubtedly achieve the Summa Cum Laude. That's so good to hear. I agree.
Chie nods her head.
With this, I'll freely be able to move on to the next stage. Next stage? You're quitting painting?
Yukari asks Chie that, feeling a bit unnerved.
Not at all. I plan on advancing even further in order to continue with art. I see.
While she still has no clue what she exactly means, Yukari is relieved that Chie will at least continue to pursue art.
Give it your all, Chie. You too, Yukari.
Of course. Yukari hesitantly nods. Both of your paintings were given a prize. We should have some sort of celebration. Masaki suggests throwing some sort of party.
Alright, please take us for dinner in Ginza.
Masaki groans, hearing what Chie said. Yukari lets out a sigh before smoothing things over.
Let's head to Moonworld. I'm certain Kyoko will prepare some delicious food. Sounds fine to me.
Chie seems to agree. Sorry about that.
No worries. I'm the first person who's aware of what my brother is going through right now.
She doesn't blame her brother one bit for having a job that only allows them to scrape by. However, her brother should take a little more responsibility, given he hired someone to help him and all. Even if that's something he can't afford to spend time thinking on right now.
Oh, welcome. Hello, Kyoko. Can you prepare something for us to eat? Let's see. I have some soba noodles I received as a gift. Is that fine? Soba noodles.
That doesn't really fit the atmosphere of a cafe. Nonetheless, it certainly has a homely feel to it.
May we have some? Of course. Green onions are the only garnish I have, though.
Yukari and the others sit at a table for 3.
Here you guys go.
She hands them 3 cups and pours hot coffee into each one.
Thank you.
Kyoko begins boiling the soba. Alright, cheers again, you two.
Thank you very much.
Chie bows her head in gratitude.
Thank you as well. You did amazing, Yukari. No, not at all. I mean, your painting was given a prize. Well, it seemed like many other paintings were given some sort of distinction as well. Yukari wasn't even attempting to be modest. I will cherish these memories, though.
Yukari truly believes that. Kyoko brings over some porcelain bowls as they engage in idle chatter.
Thanks for waiting.
The steam from the soba drifts to the ceiling. Large slices of green onions are garnished on top. Looks delicious. Masaki starts slurping down the soba noodles without a second thought.
Thank you for the food.
They're slurping soba at a cafe. While it might be a strange sight, fortunately there aren't any other customers to watch them. The slurping of the soba echoes throughout the cafe as quiet music plays.
That reminds me, Yukari. What is it?
Yukari stops her from taking more soba with her chopsticks.
Are you worried about something? Not that I can think of.
Yukari tilts her head in confusion. Yukari thinks she handled that question well.
Alright then.
Chie doesn't push the matter further. Yukari doesn't know if Chie simply believed her or if she was able to sense it. She gives Masaki a fleeting glance. Masaki has already finished his soba noodles, as it's probably a small portion for any adult man. Yukari considers giving him some of her share if he doesn't have enough, but then Yukari realizes something.
Masaki, your sleeve.
Huh? Oh, seems like the broth must have left from the bowl. The tip of Masaki's sleeve is stained a deep black.
Oh, don't rub it. Kyoko, do you have a wet towel?
Huh?
Why?
Kyoko brings the wet towel and notices the stain on Masaki's sleeve as well.
Oh my, that'll be a problem. It might even leave a permanent mark.
Yukari puts her hand on the inside part of the sleeve as she lightly dabs the outside part of the sleeve with the towel. You don't have to do all this for me.
Masaki, you barely have a change of clothes, do you now?
It would be an issue if he can't wear these clothes, especially since he doesn't have much money. Well, you have a point. She dabs the stain many times over and the color begins to fade. Afterwards, if he puts it in the wash, it should be fine.
It does seem that way to me. What is?
Yukari raises her head. Chie's eyes light up.
Nothing at all.
Oh god.
Huh.
Yukari doesn't understand what Chie is smiling about at all. Oh, here we go again. The killer strikes again. And yeah, it definitely seems like there's some kind of sort of like a romance between Yukari and Masaki, which is pretty weird. Uh-oh. Who is this? The moonlight streams through the crevice in the curtain, illuminating the white skin that lays on the floor. Its piercing whiteness is sharp enough to even ravage my mind. Of course, I feel no pain. Pain is a feeling I left behind somewhere long ago. I won't tolerate failure. I won't recognize failure. Failure does not exist. This is my first and only chance. I caress and kiss her silky, transparent back, which stands out beautifully. Alright. How wonderful. She'll now become her true self. Once I take off her fake skin, she'll become a true angel. Oh no. Oh no. So she's gonna have like the flesh on her back torn off or something, and I guess probably like wings are gonna be affixed to her, is what I'm assuming he's going to do. She is to become the daughter of the fallen angels, those damned by God himself. Now is her time to truly shine. God, spare your love for your daughter as you bless her. I pray to God as the girl in front of me meets her end. I have to make her as beautiful as the winged victory of Samothrace. I prepare my tools in order to create the real thing. The right tools are necessary in order to do that. I cannot compromise in order to create the real thing. It is unforgivable to think of it as a sham. The sharp knife, the sharpened chisel, the fine file, the coarse file and the powdered clay. All of it is necessary in order to create the real thing. I sink the knife into her arm. From the knife, my fingers feel the sensation of slicing through human flesh for the first time. I see the red cross-section. The cross-section of the muscle is much more beautiful now that I'm seeing it for the first time. I move the knife very slowly and carefully in order to not damage the surface. Time has already passed since the moment of death, so blood almost did not come out. Who knew that human blood could be so vibrant and majestic? It's as if melted rubies are before my eyes instead. We have a clearly disturbed individual here. The blood begins to drip on the floor, creating a puddle. Why is this so breathtaking? I lament how much of a waste it is that I am unable to leave my own mark. However, much like any other trace, it must be eradicated. I saw off any extraneous parts and look at the artistic lump of white before me. Ugh. How splendid. The humerus is shining a clear white. I'm filled with uncontrollable emotion at the act of God before me. I gently caress the skin first before using a coarse file to file it down. Oh God. Oh no. It's not only that's just the descriptions, but the sound effects too. It just makes it worse. The vibration of shaving bone stimulates my fingers and reaches my brain. Is this person getting off from this? I feel nothing but joy as I carefully shear away the bone. This is comparable to love. I mustn't rush, lest I injure her. Oh yeah, you don't want to do that. I grab the fine file to add in the finishing touches. It is of utmost importance to make it look as beautiful as possible. I have to cut off and shave the other side in the exact same manner. Next is crafting my most holy work. The next step is the most crucial in making the real thing. I lift up the girl's body a little bit and take off her clothes. Her beautiful back stands naked. Her fair skin and her lack of body fat emphasizes her shoulder blade perfectly. How so utterly beautiful. Imitations don't appear like this. The real thing is much different. Under the shoulder and by the shoulder blade, I ready the chisel. Yeah, I know exactly what he's doing. The blade digs into the skin and the dark blood spills out. Bit by bit, the muscles of the back are shaved off in order to make the beauty of the shoulder blade stand out more. I handle each muscle fiber with the utmost care and detail. I also carefully remove any bit of fine muscle from the shoulder blade in order to expose it properly. It's just like an angel's wings. I admire what I see from the bottom of my heart. This might simply be one of the most beautiful corpses in the world. I carefully shaved the exposed shoulder blade in order to make it like the real thing. Almost there. With the shaved shoulder blade finally taking a form, I start to gather clay around there. I cannot afford to be clumsy and leave any fingerprints. With gloves around my hands, I mold the clay and it begins to take form. A solid foundation is necessary to craft the real thing. With the foundation now complete, I carefully affix it onto the body. It's like an angel's wings. Finally, this is perfect. This is the real thing. I put the powder clay on the surface. I also apply makeup to the lifeless face. I wonder if adding red will make it shine that much more. Perhaps doing that will make it more appealing to the eye. Yeah, it's already very appealing. So maybe this is going to end with them, like, finding that corpse and the investigation into whatever that is going on starts. I guess these girls being murdered and being made to look like those paintings. Sounds very familiar. But we know it's not, it's not Shinji, it's not Shinzo, they're dead. It's somebody who's maybe like some, like a copycat or something. I wake up to the sound of the telephone from the living room. Today is Sunday, so Yukari is in the house and able to take the call. Just look at that.
Brother, the phone's for you.
Okay. It's probably something for me then. Who is it? I stand up and turn to Yukari. It's Yaginuma from the Metropolitan Police Department. Why him? I snap my eyes open. Maybe there was progress, or perhaps. Hey, it's me. Mr. Detective, we have a case. You wouldn't call for any other reason. So, is it a continuation of the last case? No, it's likely a separate case. The corpse's features are completely different. Then shouldn't you be fine without me? I don't have the free time to poke my nose into an entirely new case, especially one that's seemingly innocuous.
I agree. However, it seems like the current situation begs to differ.
What do you mean?
Did you see the painting at the museum the other day? Shinzo Mamiya's Divine Punishment?
So it's about that painting then. That's definitely quite the name for it. Hey, don't tell me. I recall that the painting depicted an armless angel. You realize then, it's likely an imitation murder. An imitation murder occurred based on Shinzo Mamiya's artwork. It's just like 2 years ago, with Girl in the Shell. Where should I go? Head down to the central office first. Alright, sounds good. I returned to my room in order to get ready. Brother, what happened? Yukari peers into my room. I'm heading up for a bit. Shall I inform Masaki as well? I'll get him to work on a separate case. I want Masaki to give his undivided attention to pursuing Naori Kuria. I want to avoid having both of us abandon that case. The fruits of his labor will be a completely separate issue though. Alright, I'm heading off. Yes, take care. Here we go again. I drive to the central police station and head to the investigations unit. You're late, Mr. Detective. There was a lot of traffic, so how's the situation? Right now, the investigators are preserving the scene of the crime and interviewing nearby residents. The coroner has also started on the medical examination. I see. Then it's likely an imitation murder then. I haven't seen the painting for myself, so I can't really make any conclusions, but since this happened immediately following the discovery of the painting, there has to be some connection. Alright then. Come on, let's get going. We dismount from the police car in front of an apartment complex. It looks like any ordinary apartment complex. However, policemen surround the building to deter any rubberneckers. Are there any other residents? Yes, they're currently being interviewed. Regardless, it doesn't seem like any of them have heard any suspicious noises the past few days. And the person who discovered the body? It was the victim's employer. She didn't go to work, so her employer visited, thinking something was suspicious. The employer and the landlord discovered the body together. Nothing seems suspicious from what you've told me. Let's go investigate the actual scene of the crime. Yaginuma starts walking towards the place of the murder. Without even seeing the body, I know the condition of the corpse already. It'll be just like that painting. You're late, Yaginuma. The coroner, Natsume, leaves the room where the corpse was discovered. Thanks, Natsume. Hey, Tokisaka. You feeling alright now? Yes, I can't isolate myself in my house forever. She must be worried about the case from last month. Sorry to hear that, but it looks like it won't be related to this case. Is it really an imitation? We have no idea about the painting. I can't really say, but the corpse looks quite weird. Weird. Have a look for yourself. With that, Natsume returns to the room. Yeah, uh-oh. The stench is nauseating. That familiar rotting stench hits me. My nose also catches the scent of oil paints. Her face is devoid of any emotion. A strange yet alluring sculpted work protrudes from her back. The camera flashes its striking light at the corpse. The blinding lights really give the impression that the corpse is a majestic piece of art. There it is in the flesh. I guess this is going to be like the event that kicks everything off. I halt myself when I lay my eyes on the corpse, despite knowing full well what I would see. I recall finding the Girl on the Shell statue of Misa Nakahara. Before my eyes is Divine Punishment's armless one-winged angel. There is only one person I know that could have crafted this, but he possibly couldn't have. The victim is Shizuka Mizuno. No, rather, her first name is Sei. She rented out this room. Oh, it was Sei. Yaginuma reads over the documents.
She works at an art gallery within the city. The person who discovered her body was her employer, Keita Sasakura.
I see. Nothing out of the ordinary so far. The room is littered with art supplies.
Hey, let's start. That corpse has been catching my interest.
Alright. With white gloves covering my hands, I begin my search of the corpse in front of me. Oh no. Okay, where should we look first? Probably the blood stain. A puddle of blood spans across the floor, likely where the arms were cut.
The arms were likely cut when the victim was alive, with the amount of blood here.
And they were definitely cut here?
There's a puddle of blood as well as the bones shavings. I'm certain it was done here.
Outside of that, I don't spot anything peculiar on the floor by the corpse. Okay, the corpse itself. The corpse sits atop a stand that's covered in a red cloth. It's an image taken directly from Divine Punishment. Do we know the cause of death?
We're still waiting on the analysis. There doesn't seem to be any major wounds.
There aren't any conspicuous wounds around the sawed-off arms. Seems like poison could have been a potential cause. Yeah, she was probably drugged with something.
You have a point. I'll look into that further.
The head? The face is completely brushed up with white face powder, looking just like makeup used by the dead. It doesn't look like the face has been tampered with.
You're right, it's pretty clean.
There doesn't seem to be any obvious wounds. Lipstick is neatly lathered on the lips. And the victim is without a doubt the Sei Maizuno.
The person who discovered the body confirmed the identity.
Yaginuma immediately replies.
We'll check the dental records afterwards to confirm.
We're still waiting on the final confirmation, but we know the victim's identity with almost 100% certainty. The wings? This is fundamentally similar to the Divine Punishment painting. A large wing is protruding from the corpse's back, just as the painting depicted. The other side is small, or rather meant to be representing a still growing wing. Clay serves as the base of the wing. Meanwhile, thin strips of bamboo protrude out to make the skeletal frame. There's enough clay to envelop the entirety of the shoulder blade. The clay and skin seem perfectly in union. Perhaps the skin was cut off here too. It's feasible that the feathers are real and are simply fastened to the bamboo frame. So on first glance, this wing would appear to be the real thing. It's easy to trap yourself in the delusion that the girl depicted in the Divine Punishment painting is right here before me.
The murderer purposely shaved the skin on the shoulder blade to stick the wing on there. Having a solid base is a good idea so the wing won't collapse.
Paper mache. Is it possible to analyze the materials in this lump in order to determine when it was sculpted?
That's not a job for an autopsy doctor. Well, I'll ask the experts.
However, this must have taken a long time to prepare. Okay, so maybe the arms? Both arms on the corpse are severed. Were you able to find the severed arms?
The arms aren't in this room.
So the murderer took them elsewhere, or perhaps they murdered the victim elsewhere. Have you investigated for any vital reactions near the severed limbs?
There weren't any vital reactions. Ah, it's one strange body that's been cut. It looks like the body's been filed down a lot for some reason.
Why is the murderer extensively preparing the area they cut?
I think the muscle's been cut with the knife, but the saw has to cut the bone. But I saw no marks.
Man, the way they're spelling words for Natsume makes it really hard to actually vocalize like what she's saying or how she's saying it. I know she's supposed to have like this, what is it, like Kansai accent or something, so she sounds like she's from, the southern region of Japan. So they must have used a saw and went out of their way to file the area down afterwards.
Or maybe a saw was never used and they used a file the whole time.
With the corpse constructed like this, I can say with a high degree of certainty that the murder was planned. If they had planned on cutting it from the start, then they wouldn't have needed to file it down. Yaginuma interjects with his own perspective. There must be a reason they didn't use a saw. Perhaps they never planned on using one from the very beginning.
Well, I can't say much because I can't find any saws or files in the room.
I wonder if they're trying to mislead us. Or maybe they purposely did it this way to make it look like that painting. I'll likely have to take a note of that. Alright, anywhere else on the body? Outside of the lacerations done on the arms and back, there's no other signs of damage. Okay, nothing on the legs. No sign of injury, the nails Blood, nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe the hair? It seems like the person who discovered the body was able to confirm the identity by looking at the... Okay, yeah. Anywhere else in the room? Yeah, we know. The victim is an artist. Actually, her occupation is a bit different. It seems she works as an art restoration specialist. I see. An art restoration specialist was the same occupation that Miss Nakahara had. What are the odds? Though they're likely unrelated. Alright, the easel? But the victim is an art restoration specialist, huh? Okay. Nothing out of the ordinary there. We already checked the blood stain. Several marks on the floor are stained with blood, signaling the scattered blood from the victim's body. This is... What is it? Yaginuma stands beside me. There's a break in the blood stain here. There's an unnatural break in the blood here on the floor. Something was placed here then. What exactly? I think it was some sort of item. Nonetheless, the fact that the victim's arms were sawed off here and carried away remains a sure conclusion. Alright, well I guess it's a good thing we checked there. I'm actually not using a guide for this, guys, so like I'm just really sort of winging it. Making sure I kind of check everything. But I don't think we've really missed anything here. I think we've... Seems like we've got everything. We checked the blood. We checked the body. We checked the wings. We checked the face. I mean, the chest? No. Yeah, I think we're done here. There's not really anything else to see. Yeah, we might as well. I think I investigated all I can. Well then, let's carry out the body. We leave the room as the forensics team takes our place inside. A large sigh escapes me. What do you think, Mr. Detective? Nothing yet. I still need a detailed report for the cause of death, so I'm waiting for the autopsy. I'll be getting to the cause of death and ID earlier than usual. Thank you very much. I'm going on ahead and interviewing her employer. At the moment, he's the prime suspect. True. He's the most suspicious at the moment, despite the fact that the landlord was with him when he discovered the body. And Mr. Detective, would you care to investigate the painting Divine Punishment some more? If you think it's an imitation murder, there's a high possibility you'll find some important clues. Yeah, got it. In all honesty, I'd rather not. However, I'm pretty much the only person qualified to handle this. Today is the 16th. The murder likely took place the day before, on the 15th. The painting was open to the public on the 13th. Did the murderer immediately initiate their murders right away, after being swept up in the paranoia of the painting? That seems way too fast. Then again, the murderer might not be someone we want to apply normal common sense to. Nothing seems strange if we consider them as deranged people. Is it even the right thing to do to lump in this murder with the murderers of the previous cases? At the current moment, however, I don't know a damn thing.